Welcome back to Across the Glass Sea, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons live play podcast where we find heroes traveling across dangerous lands, embarking on adventures, and having some fun. My name is Nathaniel Miller, and I am your Dungeon Master, and I'm joined in studio by...
Ben Gilbreth, playing Tamarian Narsale, first mate of the Phantom-class ship, to be named later.
And by...
Michael Mazul, playing Lichen Tholomew, captain of the Phantom ship.
Technically, it's a Pilgrim-class ship, guys. Sharp-eared listeners will catch that detail out.
I think you're wrong, DM. I think you said Phantom.
No, I'll go check my notes.
And with that...
Ben.
Quick. Edit. I'll fix it in post. Yeah. Welcome. You have collected a Phantom.
Oh, I was wrong all along.
Oh, no.
Awesome. Glad to be back here with you boys. Last time on Tyroa, our heroes traveled inland on the island that they were marooned upon towards a mysterious structure. On the way, you all uncovered an arcane obelisk which endowed Tamarian with some mysterious powers. You dodged dinosaurs in the undergrowth and swatted mosquitoes. While you got to the structure, you realized it was actually a series of ruins perched atop the mountain on this island. You also reunited with more survivors of your ship, including Penelope Cross, who served as the ship's mage. You all explored the ruins, finding a door, and eventually figured out how to get through it. On the other side, you fought clockwork creatures, as well as activated some kind of arcane intelligence, which told you that these ruins were Cartographic Facility 135, a construction of some sort of ancient civilization. You uncovered a magical ship, as well as found out 2 disturbing pieces of information. One is a lost shadow fleet and army of the ancient Oringian Empire, which is out there waiting to be activated or salvaged. You also uncovered a prophecy of the end of the world. We come back to you guys standing in the record room at Cartographic Facility 135, having just seen this vision.
Yeah, I'm just going to say disturbing does not quite do that justice. Oh, the world may have ended once or twice before, or it may be about to end. We don't know.
Lichen is deathly silent because he has committed, you don't know how long exactly, but most likely the majority of his life to being on the seas. And he just sold nothing but desert. Is this going to happen?
This is a recollection of testimonies provided by Imperial Seers from cycles 2-7 through the later cycles. Prophecies may be unreliable.
Do you know what cycle we're in now? Have you been able to track that?
Current cycle unknown. Have not received data in some time.
Shoot.
Well, we can do a little math. You said this is from cycle 27 onward, but this facility was built in cycle 536?
That is correct.
How long is one cycle?
Processing.
Oh, I don't want to do math.
Unclear.
Math is amazing. Okay, watch your tongue.
I want to do single digit math with dice. Do we know what is? I think I asked this last time. None of this terminology is familiar to Tam?
You suppose that cycle is some unit of time measurement that these people used, but you're not sure how to translate
right,
that.
So it's not equivocal to 1 year.
It's not 1 year.
I gotcha. Great.
It could be a month, it could be a year, it could be 100 years.
A quarter, yeah, all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
Great. So... what time of day is it by this point? Like
it's late afternoon.
Okay.
Going into the evening.
So, Lichen, we know we're on this Fang Island, and I'm going to stick with that because I don't remember the number that was given originally. Is it worth exploring the island? Do you remember, even just from looking at maps?
Based on my knowledge, no one really has explored this island before. Like I said, most sailors would just steer clear of it. So I doubt we'd really find much that isn't part of whatever this civilization of future-esque dwarves had here. Although that does raise an interesting question. Wayfinder, you said that you guys collected information kind of globally from all around. Could you show us on the map where your other locations, your other cartography facilities are located?
Light bulb.
Yes. Please proceed to the cartography room, and I will pull up a display.
Time to see if our DM actually has this. Highly
so
impressive.
Yes, make us a map, Nathaniel.
You go back into the room. The Wayfinder pulls up that holographic map again, and you notice a bunch of islands and portions of continents light up, and it says, highlighting most recent map of known imperial settlements. And there are cities and settlements on every single continent. This is the capital settlement. This is the imperial city. And it zooms into an island that you actually have never seen before. And it begins to coalesce into an image of like this island that is basically one large city. Massive, probably about 100-ish square miles, but just urban sprawl. It's in a part of the glass sea that you know there is no island.
Yeah, that's going to be Tam's constant question. Is that still here? Have you seen that? Is that dot in the same place it was on your map? Because Tam does not know the map compared to what Lichen knows. So I'm just constantly asking that very question. Is that still there? Did it move?
That's not there anymore. That's a way bigger rift in the sea now as well. That looks like a peninsula is or is not there anymore. This map isn't lining up perfectly with present wayfindings.
That's both scary and interesting.
And then in this moment, I'll to Wayfinder, because is it a she? It's a she, right? Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead with that. She said,
I am not a gendered construct.
I've had the same thought. Like I keep wanting to say her because something about the pleasant computer voice.
You may refer to me as with female pronouns if you wish.
Well, Wayfinder. All right, Wayfinder. Here, could you make sure that you don't lose this map, but can you make another one that we could edit, and I can start to tell you and show you, at the very least, the waterways, what they're looking like currently?
Indeed. So you are agreeing to share your cartographic data with me?
Some of it.
Yes, this will be a collaborative venture.
Just the waterways, nothing else.
Very well.
Tam keeps looking at Lichen and hearing the voice in his head and looking somewhere in the room like you're going to look back and forth in an argument or a conversation, but there's no one to look at.
I think Tam would probably notice a slightly different cadence in Lichen's voice, and he's willing to share, but it's almost like there's a deep hesitation, not a fear, a hesitation of Lichen doesn't want to be fully seen by anything.
You hear Wayfinder say, processing. And then the map splits into two maps. And it says, over one of them, the words like original appear. And the other one says, user Lichen's map.
And it's an updated map to the best of my knowledge, I'm assuming.
I mean, if you are, yeah, we want
I'll start to
roleplay
edit it.
Yeah, you start telling
Iron Man hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking the same
You
thing.
start-
Tony Stark.
Yeah, you go and you change it. You repaint the coastline here and pull back this peninsula here, and you take this island out because it's gone. And I mean, it's probably going to be a little bit of a while of you working on this. After maybe an hour or so, you have a more up-to-date map.
While I'm doing that, I'll just look at Tam. Why don't you go check out that last room? This might take a minute. Like I said, there's a lot just off on this.
Yeah, sure. I was actually going to see if you wanted me to do that while you were busy working.
Why
Cells.
don't you take Cell with you, and Penelope can stay here with me?
Okay.
I'm not going to bite you, Tam. Let's
Well, I
go.
know. Okay. Sorry.
We've worked together for decades now. You know, it's not strange for us to be exploring this
No, it's
passageway
not
together.
that. Okay. And again, Flop Sweat breaks out. It's not that I'm worried or I'm afraid of you. I'm just really
I think
bad.
you are afraid of me.
I'm not. I promise. I'm just really bad at I'm really bad at non-goal-oriented conversation.
All right, here's a goal. Get through that door.
That I can do. Yes, ma'am. Another very smart salute and walks over and opens the door.
Sel like is muttering under her breath. She's like, he's centuries older than me. Why is he saluting me?
The fact that you, as the DM, were just shaking your head in exasperation made me so happy.
I'm just acting the character out. So you guys open this doors, and it is stairs going downwards.
Wayfinder,
Yes, user Tam.
where did the stairs go, please?
This stairwell will take you to our transport facility.
Transport meaning what exactly?
There is an anchorage concealed from outside eyes located beneath this facility that gives you easy access onto the Glass Sea.
Interesting. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did I not hear that there were more than one Pilgrim class ships available?
Indeed.
So the
Although
one...
I cannot speak as to their condition.
So let's go down and check this out. I'm not sure if you were hearing some of the conversation before, but Lichen now has a boat in his pocket that we can take in and out and use. And so it may be that we have a fleet at our disposal at the bottom of these stairs.
So she is linked up with you guys,
Right.
and she would have been privy to every
Okay.
conversation.
So let's go with our goal in mind. Let's go downstairs and get off this island.
Yes, please. So you guys go down the flights of stairs, and there's a lot. There is one landing about 3 flights down with a hallway leading off of it, but there's been a cave-in.
Okay.
And so that wing is blocked off to y'all. You go down about another 3 or 4 flights of stairs, and it opens up into this big sort of almost like hangar space. And you could see and feel the salt spray of the sea. You could hear almost like the waves lapping, and you walk out through into this hangar area, and there's this massive cavern where the construction of the black stone fades away, and there's just natural rock formations, and you can see that there is a cave, like a cave mouth in the distance, and there's a sort of a lagoon in this cave that you can theoretically, like a ship, and there's some docks, like a ship could come and sail into here and dock in this cave at this facility. There are no ships right now that you can see in the water, though.
So the lagoon is open. It's not necessarily... Okay. I wonder if this is where Lichen... Because he said people have stopped here before. I wonder if this is maybe the common... Wayfinder.
Yes, user Tam.
I'm starting to like this. Have other ships docked here before? Whether or not they've interacted with your neural link?
Accessing records. No ship has docked here since the last Imperial data packet many cycles ago.
Interesting. We'll ask Lichen when he's done with his map. So, are there extra ship models down here? Like on a shelf or something? Like a charging dock?
A charging cradle.
charging-
Take one of
Yeah.
those, one of these.
You see... Make a perception check for me.
Ready? 15.
With a
Oh, wait, no,
15
plus my d4. 16.
With a 16, you see in the water the wreckage of what looks like some kind of ship. You do not see any figurines. You surmise that with the passage of time, some of these things have deteriorated.
Well, I knew that might have been a long shot, but I can't sail a boat anyway. Let's go back and see what he's up to.
So you guys go back up. You're just putting the finishing touches on your map, and it looks good.
I've been like checking with Penelope some too. I'm like, I know you haven't been quite on the waves as long as necessarily I have been, but I'm that's the best I can remember from that area, and I know you've sailed there a good bit more than I have.
Yeah, she'll come and correct, make edits and changes as much as she can.
For a second, I thought you had already given Wayfinder a name, but I forgot that Penelope was the mage. I was like, man.
So I'm finishing it up, and then as you get up, you can clearly see on the 2 maps the original and then user Lycan's version, just like the stark differences. I think some areas obviously look identical, but then other ones are just way off.
User Lichen, query. Is your map accurate of the current situation of the Glass Sea?
It is the most accurate that myself and Penelope can come up with, and we both are no strangers to the sea by any means.
User Lichen, query. Where is the Imperial City? It is not on your map.
Oh, no.
Wayfinder, To be completely honest with you, I'm unfamiliar with that myself. I'm not sure where it is right now, but maybe we could find it as we use this boat.
Oh. Adding to the data logs.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
Can I?
I'm so
can I
scared of
insight
this.
check it?
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Ben, the player, is terrified right now.
Okay, 13. I think we're under the assumption that this is just, tech, computer, and I'm like, is there a consciousness? Like,
It sounds almost sad.
Yes, every new piece of information that we give this Wayfinder, Ben is going, oh no, another alarm is about to go off. The murder bots are coming.
Wayfinder, I'm honestly happy to take you with us. If I'm being completely honest, this keep is degrading. It is slowly but surely being taken back over by time. And so you might not necessarily like what you find if you leave this place. It is, to our knowledge, it is the year. What year is it?
The Tyrant was such a significant earth-shattering, world-bending event that right now y'all are counting years from that happening. So it's like year 305.
Post-tyrant or something.
It's currently year 305 in our time, post-tyrant. And I understand you might not even know what that is. You see that giant swash in between these two continents that you didn't have on your map? The Tyrant did that.
Query, what is the Tyrant?
I'm not super read myself, but this is what I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Tam, I feel like Tam would have come up during some of that.
Been a part of the
And
conversation.
maybe listened in to a
Had a
little
heart
bit.
attack knowing I'm telling it all this stuff.
Well, no, that Tam doesn't care. Ben is the one having the heart attack. We're creating Hal. We're creating Hal. No, so I think Tam would be prepared, would be enjoying seeing you overlay the maps because he doesn't experience that side of the world very often. But when you go to talk about the Tyrant, Tam is interested to know because Tam lived through it. Not directly, but was alive when it happened. He was born pre-tyrant, so that he does have that memory.
I think you probably noticed too, since I had been doing this for, we said roughly an hour, on some type of cattywampus table off to the side, our navigation tool's out, and then Lichen has clearly been trying to get as accurate as he can with land masses, with currents, with all of that. Like, he's very good with that stuff.
Between the two of you, you remember both what you've learned, what you've experienced, what you've heard. There's still a lot of mystery around what happened with the Tyrant. But this is a quote, an excerpt from a historical document called the Nimbus Chronicle, which is a history of Tyroa by a Cloud Elf scholar. So you might not have read this exact thing, but this is an excerpt from it that will be illustrative. 305 years ago, the Tyrant shattered the world. Some ancient god of destruction or some primordial creature rose up from across the edge of the world and rent the earth itself in pieces. The Asturian Empire, which ruled much of the southern parts of the Glass Sea, were destroyed. Their cities were overthrown, their armies were crushed. Only their navy, and such merchant ships as were out of port or had left port quickly enough, survived. The northern kingdoms were also savaged by the tyrant's predations, with whole castles and cities falling into the great chasms caused by his arriving. Even in the deepness of the holdfasts of the dwarf clans, the tyrant brought armies and kings low. The very continents were shattered. Only the cloud elves high and their floating islands were spared. And then one day the tyrant disappeared as quickly as he came. No one knows if he grew bored, if he was vanquished by some band of adventurers, or challenged by some even higher, greater power.
So just DM on the scale of that. What was the amount of time that the Tyrant?
It's rain for.
Yeah. How long was it on the plane of existence?
Somewhere between 6 months and a year. It directly came up against the Asturian Empire and kind of like made its way around the entire Glass Sea. But most of those kingdoms when losses happened, it caused great tsunamis and earthquakes as well that destroyed much, not directly attacked
Gotcha.
people. Except
So it had a vendetta of sorts against.
you don't
it
know.
would seem.
It would seem, or like when a hurricane passes by, there's storms everywhere, but some places get hit worse than others.
And you said it was like a primordial? It was like a god-esque
No one's
type?
sure if it was a god of destruction from beyond this plane or some sort of primordial titan. No one was able to communicate with it. Like, no one really knows.
But no one thinks it was like, a snow elf that's crazy magical or anything. Like, it was something non-humanoid potentially?
Yeah, I mean, they some sort of reports describe it in very different ways. Some kind of gargantuan bear, a 5-headed dragon, some sort of massive lizard. Eyewitnesses described the tyrant as all of those things, but they were also mad with fear and grief. No one really is sure even what it looks like.
Dang.
So that's the best we know to our ability.
We've said all that in our accents.
Wayfinder. Again, like I said, you might not necessarily like what you find, but I, for one, be happy to have you on my ship.
Speaking of which, there's no other ones down there. I was trying to get us a fleet, and they were all broken.
Oh, is that what was down there?
Oh,
Just
right.
like their
There's
fleet?
another. There's a. She said we're gonna call her a girl.
That is fine with me.
That's all right.
Call it
Easy enough.
Wayfinder, whatever.
Oh, this will be a fun test. See if I can talk to her about things.
I hope you can, Cam.
So
It's fine. You know what? It's fine. You know what?
you know
who
how
who am I to judge? It's fine.
We came out of the room to the left, and there's the other door that we went down. It goes down some stairs to a lagoon. There's a dock. There's room for other ships, and I wondered if there might have been more Pilgrim class pocket ships. There weren't any.
Well, let me go check real quick. But first, Wayfinder, you still want to come with us on this boat, or would you rather stay
It
here?
is my purpose to collect and collate cartographic data for this installation. Whether my creators remain or have perished, my purpose remains.
Is there any way that we could assign ourselves as your new owners, or do we need some other type of authority for that?
Processing. This solution would be acceptable. Wayfinder will operate as the intelligence inhabiting your Pilgrim-class vessel, and so continue the mission of collecting cartographic data for the protection of the Empire? For the world.
Yes. Computer.
Wayfinder essentially is not going to completely abandon this place.
Right.
But will put...
We have a Jarvis.
You
now.
have a jar of it in your ship.
And I guess as long as we have the figurine within a certain range of us, we can still connect and whatnot. Sweet. Mechanically, this might be a bit cheating or something, but are we allowed to use that as almost like a telepathic bond between the two of us? And
Yeah, at least while you're within, a certain radius.
okay, no, that's awesome. Let me go look at this lagoon area you're talking about. I go down there. I am going down there with the strict desire to dive in and to search the
Yeah.
bottom of the floor.
Yeah, so you get down there and you see it's just it's sheltered from the waves. There are waves lapping at the edge of the dock. It seems like there was some sort of maritime supply, warehouse in this area. All of the supplies are ruined with age. You see some wrecks in the bottom of this lagoon as well.
I'm assuming we know that magical S type things might actually stand the test of time.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do a once over to see if there's anything worth note within the bottom of this lagoon anywhere.
Make a perception check.
It's only a 2.
Okay, yeah, you don't see anything.
All right. Just nothing but a bunch of wreckage and, rotting wood and rust and steel down there. So I think we got everything we need to.
Yeah, I think while you were going to do that, Sel and I, because Penelope stayed too. I feel like me and the ladies may have gone back out to everybody. And
Before you guys go out of the big room, you hear Wayfinder's voice one last time saying, "User Tam, the previous curator of this installation kept a budget for miscellaneous expenses. Would you like to have access to those funds?"
Yes, please.
Accessing. And you see a wall panel slide out, and a little like chest on a stone shelf comes out, and there's 100 gold in there.
Nice. Thank you, Wayfinder.
You are welcome. It would just stay and rust here.
Yeah, sweet. So 100 gold. Yeah, I guess maybe by the time we've worked our way through that, we've all kind of come out together and can. So we don't think there's any reason to stay here.
No, I think we got, I mean, maybe for shelter for the night. I mean, we all got banged up pretty bad in that last fight with the metal man and the beetles, but besides that, I don't see much more we can get from here. Now that we have potentially a boat, we still need to see it in person.
That's what I was going to say. We'll test that in the morning. And Wayfinder,
Yes, User Tam.
there's no metal men or beetles on the boat, is there?
That is negative.
What is
Pilgrim class vessels are not equipped with security platforms.
now that I know where we are and everything, how far of a voyage would it necessarily be to the closest settlement? Because even though I don't know if you've communicated, I know you guys have said like kind of go back or whatever.
I think that would be something we would probably talk about later.
Well, so then my point of view would just be like, we just need to get to civilization first for everybody, because not assuming everyone's just gonna like stay on, the crew with us or anything like that. And also, I mean, honestly, Lichen might want to ditch. So
I am the captain now.
So this place is pretty remote. There's honestly like 3 or 4 ports that are all roughly like the same distance apart from one another.
okay, I'm just curious how far of a voyage would it be to like the closest, I guess, bigger settlement that would have access to like go to other places from it if anyone wanted to.
Probably about a week.
Looking at the map now that I know where we're at, as long as the weather of the seas are kind to us, I mean, we're about maybe a week voyage out from somewhere where we could kind of get bandaged up, get rest, get materials if we need them, and everyone can kind of go their own way if they need be from there.
I figured we'd put this maybe to the entire crew, but Sel and I do still have our mission of delivering this message, and I'll actually, I think this is probably the first time you've seen the amulet that I have. The ambassador gave this to us, and we gave this to me and imparted a mission to us to deliver this to a Captain Admiral Lucian. No, Cassian. Dang it, Cassian.
Admiral Lucia Cassian.
Lucia Cassian. There we are, of course. But she obviously stood us up on our meeting, or was prevented. He did mention that were she not to come, or were the worst to happen, which it seemed to have done, that the best place to start looking for her would be near some of the Admiralty colonies. And so at this point, that's where I'm headed. I'm assuming that's where Sil's headed. We could certainly use the help. You're good in a fight. You've become a good friend. And we can discuss that at a later date. But, things being what they are, we know that the timeline's messed up, but we've still got a goal in mind.
Okay, yeah, we could definitely talk about that more. I don't really got anywhere to go, and now I got my own ship, so yeah, we definitely see about that. Let's talk more with the crew, though. I want to do right by Penelope and some of these other, and just if they want off, by all means, they have every right to, and we can look for help if we need it in whatever city we seem to port in.
DM Nathaniel,
Yes.
when the chest was revealed, who was with me?
So I think this would have happened while everyone but Lichen would have been in the room.
Oh, by the way, as far as refitting goes, Wayfinder told me there was a bit of a budget to be had, and she gave out 50 gold that we could take with us. If you want, you can have half of it to divide amongst your people as you like. I think me and Sel will probably keep the other 25 to have for...
I think it was 100 gold. Ah,
it was.
I see.
I'm hedging my bets in case we need to buy a ship.
Okay.
There's a reason I'm lying. And so, be glad to split the booty. And, if we continue to travel together, we can continue in that way. But I just wanted to let you know about that.
I appreciate that. Oh, well, that's really helpful. Wayfinder, he said 50. Are there any other stashes anywhere around this facility?
Tim is sweating so bad. Can I roll deception?
Yeah, sure.
I would love to roll deception.
Roll deception.
All right, let's see here. Roll my good dice, see what the story has in mind. That's a 2 on the dice.
Ledgers
Minus
indicate-
1 for a 1.
Not on that one, though.
Tam is sweating. He cannot look you in the eye. He is
50 gold.
I feel like if you're giving it away that much, then even with asking Wayfinder, can I roll insight against that too?
Yeah. I don't even think you need to roll insight with a 1.
Yeah, what's your passive insight?
That's 10. I mean, it's not good, but my passive's 10 as well.
Yeah.
You asked Wayfinder. Wayfinder says, ledgers indicate that the previous curator had a budget of 100 gold. Perhaps some of it has degraded due to...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was afraid we might need the gold to outfit a ship. I'm so sorry. Here, it was 100. I'm sorry.
Sel's like, Tam, we're all going to we're all getting in the ship and going off together. What?
But I thought if maybe something bad happened and we had some extra gold, it might help us on our mission. I'm so sorry. I hate lying.
Tam, it's...
You're not very good at this.
No, I'm not.
It's okay. I most likely would have done the same thing. You have to look out for yourself first. And you're trying to look out for your people. I can respect that to some degree. But we're marooned. So as long as we're together, let's try to not lie about things like that.
Okay.
Honestly, you can keep that extra gold if you really want it. That's fine.
No. It'll just make me feel bad. No. And you see him visibly try to get control of himself. I'm really sorry. Part of the reason that I had no desire to go higher in the army or deeper into the court at the Kingdom of the Wood is that I hate doublespeak. I've no use for it. Even this, in a case where I saw the value an extra 50 gold might serve, it nearly killed me. And so first of all, thank you for your understanding, but I'm so thankful that we're in the same boat, no pun intended. But I'm not going to do that again. That was awful. I almost vomited.
I'm just going to ignore all of that, smile at him, and just be like, now don't talk so bad about doublespeak. It comes in handy quite a bit.
That's as maybe, but just don't ask me to do it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, well, let's get back to the rest of the crew. Hey, Wayfinder, can you tell when we're lying? Are you able to do that?
I am able to ascertain factual inaccuracies. However, I am unable to uncover the intent to deceive.
Okay, fair enough. Good to know.
Oh, I'm just emotionally exhausted now. Just the worst moment of the last 2 months for him was
Just
trying
lying to his friend.
was lying to his friend,
Yeah.
even for what he saw was the greater good. He hated that.
I think you might be surprised that Lichen legitimately didn't care about the gold. The thing he gets away from it is, okay, Tam will lie. He'll try to anyway. That's good to know.
Yes, that the dice wanted that story to go exactly the way that I wanted it to go, so it was very nice.
As you look at the map and think about different ports, there are 4 that stand out to you as being roughly the same distance. Going there would plug you into major trade routes. One is the port of Antua. which is on a chain of islands roughly due north of where you guys are right now. These islands are called the Central Islands. They're kind of in the dead middle of the Sea of Glass. And because they're in the middle, they're sort of this no man's land. Think hive of scum and villainy, Tortuga, pirate land. Another option is the port of Bonfleur, which is a major port city in the Gorian Empire, which is on the same continent as the Kingdom of the Wood, but across a major mountain range from them. It's a human kingdom mostly. Then there's Porto Medio, which is an admiralty military port, but there's a bunch of towns and the sort of surrounding, like it's one of their major hubs for their navy, that a city has grown up around that. And the final one is the city of Hermida, which is one of the kind of the biggest port in the colonies.
I vote we don't go talk to the military.
So these are the 4 that we would have the best option to get into. About a week's travel for each one. I don't think some of y'all want to go to the pirate area. It's a little rough, and based on the way that you just try to lie to me, I don't know if you do the best.
Well, again, if I can tell the truth, we'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't,
or just not talk, we'll be fine.
I personally don't want to go to the naval officer type
They're the
area.
ones what just got us here, so no, you're not alone in that.
This one is that's next to where y'all came from, right?
Farther down, yeah.
So would that potentially be the best? Because then even if we can't continue on from there, maybe y'all could head back home to some degree. Or
I'd not even thought of that, but you, Nathaniel, you also said that the admiral's base was on that same continent, so that would probably be the most.
I think I misspoke. That Bonfleur and Hermida are both on the same continent.
Gotcha.
Bonfleur is much further north and is in a country called the Empire of Goria, which is a human empire. And then the Asturian colonies is basically the southern quarter.
Right.
The southern 25% of that continent has been colonized by the Asturian navy. Hermida is the biggest port in that section of the continent.
And so wait, Hormida is the one that was the admiralty base.
Hermida and Porto Medio are both controlled by the admiralty. Hermida is just a city that has a big port. Porto Medio is a huge naval base.
Gotcha.
So we probably want to just go to the big port city that doesn't have any real allegiance.
Tam is gonna be vehemently opposed to going anywhere where there is a lot of admiralty presence.
So the admiralty was what the Death Knight and all that.
So the admiralty is. I'm not going to make you roll for this because you guys know. The admiralty is like a country ruled by a group of admirals in a council. And really, the rise of the admiralty is due to the tyrant. The Asturian Empire fell. The only system that they had built that remained after the tyrant came was their navy. And so they kind of claimed lordship over all of the remaining settlements, all the survivors. And they've built this kingdom, this empire, not a kingdom, but this country on the coastlands and islands of the Glass Sea. And in particular, one of the major areas that they've colonized is the southern section of Arasha, the continent that you're from. These are the section that's on that continent is what people call the colonies.
Right.
So you've heard from different people that Admiral Cassian usually is somewhere in the colonies, which are controlled by the Admiralty.
Right, but that port necessarily is not like a straight up fort of the Admiralty.
So yes and no. I mean, yes, but you also know that there are different factions within the Admiralty. You don't think just because you are a wood elf, they're going to kill you on sight.
The way Ben heard that is that there's Tortuga, there's the straight up
military
base,
yep.
and then 2 non-affiliated are both on the continent of Arasha.
Yes. Although technically Hermida does they fly the Admiralty flag.
Right. But it's not. City. But we're not going to the police precinct.
Right.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. That was.
They have a police precinct there, but it's not. The whole city isn't
right.
that.
It's not. Yeah.
Personally, I think we just go to the one affiliated with nothing. That's just a giant port city. Plenty of merchants, plenty of people looking for work. I think that's probably our best bet. I think on the same continent that y'all are from, right? So that could be helpful.
I guess my vote.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys head back outside where you find that Bergen has been grilling some things. He's he's found some metal pieces to fashion sort of a makeshift grill, and he's been grilling some dinosaur steaks for everyone. He sees you guys. He's manning the grill. He pulled an apron out of somewhere, and he sees you guys come out and says, "Oh, hey guys, welcome back. I've got some great grub, some great tucker for you guys. Also, I was searching that body over there. I found some interesting stuff. Would you like to take a look?"
Yeah, sure. What'd you find?
There's the Admiralty Mage that they had killed earlier.
I just assumed that they had already searched him, so that's on us.
Yeah.
You know, I just always like to. I'm a curious guy. Just like to see. Was looking for spices to see if he had any special.
Bergen, let me ask you.
You were looking
something.
to see if you could cook him, weren't you?
No, I wouldn't do anything like that.
He's a hobgoblin, right?
He's a hobgoblin.
Remember the rules. As long as it's dead.
That's not a hobgoblin. That's not a goblinoid
No,
thing.
I'm not. I didn't say it was.
Come on.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No.
I'm with Bergen. Tam.
No, you're making it weird. What did we say? Nothing alive. He was making sure it wasn't alive. Carry on.
I'm sorry, man. Let's just.
No, you don't have to apologize. There's nothing to apologize for.
Thank you for cooking for us. I appreciate
you're welcome,
you.
mate. Here's some things that I found, and he hands you a pouch, a little sort of small scroll case about this big, and a wallet containing 25 silver.
Tam just goes into full-on explaining why it wasn't awkward what he said. It was an attempt at a joke. No, you don't understand. You shouldn't be upset or offended because there's nothing to be offended about.
Would you have said that to an elf?
Yes, because we've had the same conversation.
I'm just checking.
I'm not a cannibal. I don't understand.
Right.
Goblins
and
are.
While they're having the rest of the conversation, I'll look at the.
Yeah.
You said the pouch and a scroll.
Yeah, so the pouch has 2 potions. One is a small vial of green liquid, and the other is a bigger bottle of red liquid. This is a healing potion.
Just a regular.
The small one looks suspiciously poisonous.
No, you idiot. It's not a goblin thing. It's a cannibalism thing. They're separate. You're making them together.
Okay, so Sel, I know you said you still have another healing potion on you. Do you have any healing capabilities by chance?
Yes, I can cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
But not very. I don't have many slots.
And then Penelope, I've actually never asked you this because you've usually been one of the mages helping us take out other ships and whatnot, but do you have any healing abilities?
I'm afraid not, Lichen. I'm good at blasting things and casting wind spells, wind charms, but when it comes to healing, that's just not my cup of tea. I'm
Tam.
a one-trick pony.
Tam, here, why don't you take this one? Because I don't know what we're going to run into out on the sea. Sometimes they can be kind of rough, and we need heals, and I don't want our healers to go down if we can help it.
Why don't... I appreciate it, thank you. Why don't you keep it on the off chance that you need to dump it in my mouth? Because I've got heals that I can bestow on myself and on others if we've got time. But if I go down, like last time, I could put it in my pocket and show you where I put it, or you could just keep it.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna be honest, when I get in the zone, it's hard for me not to just attack. I don't care much about healing.
Right then, fair enough. And Tam, very loudly over his shoulder, "Thank you, Lichen, for taking what was said at face value and not assigning meaning to it."
Tam, you asked a hobgoblin if he was eating a human. That's not...
Is it my fault you assumed that I meant it because he was a hobgoblin? No, it's not.
Did you think through it before you said
No,
it?
because I didn't have to. We've joked about cannibalism from day one on this stupid island.
Alright, and I'll take a look at the scroll.
The scroll, it says, Memorandum. Orders for Silver Fleet Flotilla 3. Close with primary target and execute with prejudice. Silver Fleet Flotilla 7 will pursue secondary target at Hermida.
So if this is talking about us...
I was going to say, have you
which I
shared this with
think
everybody?
It is. I haven't read it out loud, but after reading it, this is what I'm saying. It looks like one was at us, and it looks like there was another fleet. My assumption here is, and as I'm saying that, I'll hand it to you. I think they were going after whoever y'all were supposed to be meeting up with, Sel and Tam. I don't know where they are, but...
Hachiman's daggers. This is not good. It sounds like we may need to go to Hormida, or we need to avoid it like the plague.
Well, do we even know where she would be or her meetup is? Because what I knew being on the crew was we were supposed to wait there for the meetup.
What the ambassador told me and Cell is that if the meetup didn't happen, was that that there was a good chance the Admiral would be in the colonies, which, from talking to you and looking at these maps, this Hormida is where they were chasing her, and they may have gotten her. So I don't know if maybe we need to go there and try to find her, or, again, if we need to avoid it like the plague. Other than giving her this message, I've got nothing else. If we don't pursue this, I guess we'll just go back home and I can tell Filaria the message, the job was failed. But if the Silver Fleet got to the Admiral at Hormida, I don't know what we're going to be walking into. But if they didn't, it's a good place to maybe find her.
So
And that's on me. That's on Cell. That's not on you lot.
yeah, that's all fine and good. We're about to set sail. Clearly, they're sending people after y'all. I gotta ask, what was this meetup for? Why are y'all being hunted like sea dogs right now?
Tam looks at Cell.
I got no fight in this. I'm a man of the sea, but
You should have fight in this. If the Admiralty gets their way, they're going to put boots and sails in every port of call. There will be no pirate city. There will be no coastal experience apart from their authority. So if you enjoy your life living free upon the sea, you should help us. Because they are searching for something, an edge. And if they can get it, they will launch an all-out war that will conquer this entire southern hemisphere.
with my particular background, DM, how do I feel about the
Yeah,
Admiralty?
the Admiralty has sent fleets to try to destroy the Wandering City. You've met a lot of Admiralty people. They range from, they're kind of stuffy, lawful neutral types, they're just kind of complacent, status quo, foolish. You're kind of they're idiots. All they care about is laws. They're so stupid. From that all the way to lawful evil, we want to conquer the seas and impose our dominion over it. And we'll do anything to get that. So there's a range within the Admiralty.
And you've heard me, you've joked about me just following orders. And that's true. I've not argued in that regard. You've also heard me say I don't follow orders that I don't think are right. And from everything that I've heard, which I've not listened hard, I've not been told a lot, this is for the good. It's not just for some esoteric greater good. It's to keep people safe. It's to keep people free.
Okay, I can get behind that, but I'd be off if I didn't point out y'all didn't really answer me. I understand what you're fighting for. What exactly was this meetup for? How is this meeting going to stop them in that regard? Just a meeting between people.
I'm not quite sure, Cell says. The Admiral, Cassian, and the Ambassador, there was some deal that they were going to arrange. I don't know if it was an exchange of information, some sort of secret...
While she's saying that, Tam kind of shows him the chain of the amulet. I feel at this point Tam would have informed Lichen, at least, probably not anybody else, about the message. That was what was given to him to do. That's why he's so bound and determined to go find this person, to finish his job. And so while she's talking, he's just kind of reminding you, there was a message given. We don't know, mate. A good soldier doesn't have to know everything.
Yeah, essentially she goes on to explain that they were planning on conducting some kind of agreement or treaty or negotiation that would lead to a more, hey, let's stand down, de-escalate the situation. You guys are talking about this stuff, and Cell looks at you, Lichen, and says, if it's money that you are interested in, there are many interested parties that would make sure that you profited greatly off of this whole situation.
Money's one thing, for sure. I think I'm looking for something just worth it. And I personally don't even know exactly what that is quite yet. But like I said before, I don't have much of anywhere to go. Let's get to a place where we can re-equip, get some people the help they need, get Penelope's arm fixed up, right? And then we can see moving forward from there. But presently, I don't really have a reason to say no. And if I'm also being honest, I'm not a big fan of the Admiralty myself. So
Well, you're in fine company.
I could see it being kind of fun for a little while to be a thorn in their side.
All right. We go to Hermita.
I'm along for the ride. I'm just the first mate.
Is that the city we said, the port city we already said?
So that's the port city that is technically ruled by the Admiralty, but it's just a city,
Not the military base.
And that's where we're assuming the girl you were supposed to meet up with ran to. I guess we'll make our way back to the crib. We've already made our way.
Yeah,
back
you're there. Bergen's grilling up some steaks.
Yeah, this has been happening at the
You
barbecue.
guys are about to... He somehow found on your trek through the jungle some beans, and he's cooking those as well, making a little bit of a chili to have on the side. And yeah, you guys settle in for the evening. What watches would you guys like to take?
How far away from the beach are we?
Well, you're about a 6-hour hike or a 20-minute walk down some stairs.
I don't know. I'm not going to do this on my watch because I don't want to leave everyone unaccounted for. But at some point before we go to sleep, I'm going to make my way down to the 20-minute walk down real quick. So I'll disappear for like 2 hours, basically 40-minute round trip, maybe a little less than an hour and a half or so.
You walk down there just to look at the water.
No, I dive in. I don't think anyone knows this yet. I can breathe underwater, and it's calming for me, and it resets me, and it connects me to some degree. And so I spend time I swim all the way down to the bottom and literally just like kind of sit there, kind of hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Feel relaxed, feel rejuvenated. Try to reach out to some degree. I still don't know a ton, and then I'll come back.
Yeah, in reaching out, I mean, you feel a sense of peace, a sense of purpose. The more you think about it, the more you're like, this is a good idea for me to travel with these people. I don't know exactly what's happening, but where I'm going and what they're getting involved into, it might be a good idea for you and for the things that you're connected to. It's sufficiently vague. But Sel volunteers to take first watch again.
So yeah, Tam will do second.
It's nice having elves.
Yeah.
Bergen says he's going to get up and do third watch while he cooks something for breakfast.
What a guy.
He does that. Sel will roll her watch first. Nothing really passes. She gets up. Tam, after that, go ahead and make a perception.
7 plus 1, 8.
Cool. After this, that D4 is going to go away.
But yeah, I assumed. Yeah. That's why I wanted to roll my 1 more time.
Yeah.
Gotta find more black rock.
I think Tam is partly distracted by knowing that Bergen is going to be up next.
Yeah.
And that he knows in some way he has offended him, but genuinely does not understand why. So he's doing a lot of conversation planning and probably not paying very good attention, knowing that there's more people and they're somewhat well
yeah, that thing that you do when you're like role playing out in your head, like
Shower
every aspect
thoughts.
of a conversation. Yep. Yeah. Your time on watch passes uneventfully. You hear a roaring of a dinosaur, but it sounds like it's far away.
Oh yeah, there's dinosaurs. Just kind of,
We sold T-Rex. I mean,
between the AI and the pocket ships and yeah, there's dinosaurs too. Forgot about that.
Other than that, your night passes uneventfully, and Bergen gets up. You were like about to wake him up, and he snaps awake. It's time to cook. And he goes and he starts getting a fire going.
Can I help you in any way?
Oh, yes, of course, if you'd like to help. Go ahead. If you would help me to build this fire, that would be really helpful.
Okay.
And he's making flat cakes for breakfast.
Ooh.
nice.
He's found somehow he produces some nuts that he collected in the jungle while you guys were going, and he's ground them into a flour, and he's heating up his cauldron and basically making these flat cakes by sticking them to the side of the cauldron and letting them cook off of that and storing them.
So you really like to do this, huh?
Yes, it is my path. It's my life's work. It's to be a chef. I hope one day to serve kings and emperors, and it would be the greatest honor of my life to cook food for someone of importance.
Well, I don't have a lot of weight in court, but I've got a friend that does, and so far you've been more helpful against some of the foes that we've fought than I have been. If you tag along, I'd be glad to put in a word. I know the king of the king in the wood.
The king of the wood
is always looking for new varieties. I don't know. I mean, this is better than any camp food I've ever had. Let's put it that way. I'd love to see you at a full-size kitchen or whatever they're supposed to be.
Yes, of course. Oh, well, that would be amazing. I would love to be able to serve His Highness at the court.
Well, again, no promises, but if you can put up with me putting my foot in my mouth, I'd do my best.
Yes, it is my path after all. And he starts listing off. Oh, if I was chef at the King's Palace for the King of the Wood, maybe I would serve this. Oh no, maybe that's a little bit too avant-garde. Maybe I would do this. No. He just sort of like lists off like 30 different menu options. He's just sort of like thinking through like what he would do.
Tam is constantly trying to interrupt politely and just be like, do you want me to cut this or
Yes, of course. Keep the fire going. Let me roll for his watch. That's fine. Nothing really happens. And the sun rises, and you guys are level 3.
Level 3.
Okay.
New spells. I was so tempted to take Purify Food and Drink just to mess with him some more.
So the sun has risen. It is a new day. You guys are rested and recovered. All your spell slots and health is back. Yeah, you have the day ahead of you.
So are we planning to leave today?
Yes, I mean, I don't think that we have anything else on this island. No other survivors have found this campfire, so I presume that no one else has made it.
I didn't even think about that. There might be others. Is it safe to assume that the footprints that we saw on day 1 going into the jungle were probably from the skeletons and or
this group of people?
Or this group of people?
Yeah, Penelope described washing ashore on
because they were on the ship, not on. Okay, yeah, yep. I was mixing up them and the right. Because
Penelope says to you guys, so you guys said that something about having a ship. What are you talking about? What did you recover one that was washed up on the shore?
Captain.
Well, thank you, first mate. You'll all follow me down to the water, and I guess we'll take them the quicker route, the 20-minute down the stairs, and I'll make my way to the water of the lagoon. And so the active work, that's right, the active word. I put it in the water and I say, Tordarash.
You see the water, like there's a spray of ocean water that fills the cavern almost as a mist, and as it clears away and recedes, you see a 90-foot long ship sitting in this place. It is wood with, at different points, stone paneling inlaid, the same white marble stone that the figurine was made out of. The prow is carved. There's a carved swan's head that's stylized and sleek. You see a mast, although no sails upon it yet. You see there's a below deck, so there's at least 2 decks on it. So there's the ship's deck, and then there's 1, 2, you think like a living quarters kind of area, and then a hold for stowage and cargo. On the front end and on the back end, there are ballistas. Not major siege engine types, but basically like a heavy crossbow mounted. There's a tiller with a wheel. The ship is yours. It is there. As well, at the back, there are 2... They almost look like oars mounted on the sides, but they're made of this strange either stone or metal. You're not quite sure, but they extend back into the water behind the ship.
Well done, sir. Also, everybody, when you step on board, you may have a strange sensation in your heads. It's perfectly normal.
And you hear Wayfinder in your heads saying, "Congratulations on activating your Pilgrim class exploratory vessel. What would you like to name it?"
Captain Lichen speaking, Wayfinder. I think we're going to go with the White Wake.
The White Wake.
That's much better than what I was going to suggest, because I also couldn't decide if I was going to make up like stupid names that Tam's just like, no, it'd be good. Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't think about that.
Processing. Ship registered. The White Wake. CO. User Lichen. XO. User Tam.
Good morning, Wayfinder.
Good morning, Tam. Are we going to set out on a voyage today?
It would seem so.
Very
yes, we use the updated user Lichen map, and we'll be heading to Hermita? Right, that's it. I'm saying in my head I'm saying Hermita still, but just fast. Hermita.
Yes, very well. Charting course. Please board the ship when ready.
Have we got like food and stuff? I mean, I guess we can have spent some of the morning gathering what
The
supplies
Pilgrim
we
class
could, or
exploratory vessel comes equipped with rations for 30 days for a sufficient crew.
and they're not like rotten.
I was about to say we might want to check them real quick.
So you guys get on the ship.
Definitely.
Cool. Yeah, you go down into the hold, and yeah, there's supplies here. There's foodstuffs. You surmise that this ship has been magically sealed away and magically stored. Like the figurine, it's not a 1-to-1 of the ship.
Right.
It's not like the figurine that you have is a mini ship that has just grown in size. It seems rather that the figurine is summoned from some demiplane.
Oh,
This big ship.
sweet.
So yeah,
Everything looks ship shape here. I think we're ready to go now. Most of the crew that was with me, you'll kind of know what task. I know this seems like a larger boat than we're used to, but
it's actually smaller than the Coral Prince.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
90 feet is smaller than the Coral Prince.
Yeah. I mean, the Coral Prince was a pretty big ship.
This is smaller than we're used to, guys. But rest assured, the Wayfinder actually has told us that some things are just taken care of. So I guess we'll find out along the way. Penelope, I want you up top deck with me.
Aye, aye, sir. And she stands up there, arm still in a sling, but feeling a little bit better about it. The ship, which is long and narrow, begins to slowly sail out of the lagoon, and you pass through this cave mouth, which as you pass through it, you realize on the exterior there's an illusion spell.
I knew it.
Covering this from prying eyes. And as you pass through, you look behind you, and there's just a solid rock face, it looks like. But you guys pass through, and you notice the sort of oar-looking things sticking off the back. They begin to glow and to sort of almost like vibrate, and they begin to propel the ship forward a little more. You guys raise the sails, and you're under the ordinary kind of propulsion of the sailing ship, but there's also the added little... You can go a little bit faster because... as well as if you're becalmed, the ship has
We've got a trolling
built-in
motor.
propulsion
I just realized we
system.
have a trolling motor on our sailing ship. I think Tam spends the first hour to 2 hours just going around and finding all the crew members and explaining to them that he is first mate in name only, that he knows nothing. Just don't yell at him and he won't have to punch you in the face. That's about it. Do what Captain Lichen says, but that's it.
But you say that to Penelope, and she's like, maybe I should be first mate.
Whoa, okay, you can be second mate. I mean, there's a chain of command.
She narrows her eyes at you.
Where is it? Do you want me to fix your arm or not?
Where's the jib?
I told you I don't know.
All right, I'll be second mate. That's fine.
In name only, Penelope. But speaking of which, Tam, do you want to learn anything?
Tam just raises both arms over his head and looks at Penelope like, just stretches.
Yeah, sure. But do you want to learn something? Would you want to shadow one of our crewmates?
Certainly.
What do you think you would be good at?
Is there anything up high?
Crow's nest? Sails?
Certainly.
You dexterous enough for
Oh,
that?
definitely.
Okay. Yeah, why don't you does the perk current person doing that task have a name?
Yeah, it's a human named Marcos.
Why don't you don't got to stick with him the whole time, but why don't you stick with Marcos a little bit, and he'll teach you. The job's fairly simple, but it's 100% needed. You're going to be in charge of turning the sails which way, pulling the right ropes, making sure that when we need power, Gus, when we need to kill the boat, that's all you. Some people might help you, but you're the one calling the shots.
Aye, sir.
You guys go out into
I
the
walk
sea.
off going, Marcos! Marcos! I enjoyed that far too much.
So you hear someone go, Polos. Just kidding. That doesn't happen. Yeah, a guy up in the rigging is like, what? What do you want?
I'm your helper, but I'm technically your boss, so you got to treat me well.
An interesting needle to thread. Get up here.
Right.
He shows you a few things. If you roll a dexterity check.
I love the immediate ego on Tam. Just like never done this before, but I'm second.
But I'm second. What was a dexterity
Just
check?
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, you do. You're all right at it. You're picking some stuff up. Not enough that it's noteworthy that you're good at it, but you're not bad enough to like
Be
notice.
ashamed.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Like you're doing good enough to be like, man, I'm like, if you are not that self-aware, to be like, I'm really good at this. You guys sail out and make a course for Hermida. The days pass on the ship. One of you roll me a d6.
You want to do it or you want me to do it?
I got it.
Got it.
6.
Awesome. On the 6th day, as you guys are getting closer to Hermida, like you've basically been in open ocean for most of this time. The last day that you're there, Hermida is on a rather large island that's just off the coast of Arasha. So it's not technically on Arasha, but like the island is a part of the continent. And on the tail, like on one end of the island, it ends in this tail that is a lot of little rocky islands and shoals. And so as you guys are coming in, you'll have to navigate through those. Michael, I assume that you are kind of manning the tiller as the ship's pilot, so I'll ask you to make some checks, some vehicle handling checks, if you can, which would probably be dexterity or strength. And I'll say you can make them with advantage because Wayfinder's going to help you.
And also, I have proficiency with vehicles, parentheses, water.
Yeah.
With my background. So you said advantage and...
Well, I was going to cast Enhance Ability.
So what would I add? Dex and proficiency to that?
Yeah, dex and proficiency.
Okay, my dex is only 1, so I'll add a 3 to whatever this is. 10.
Okay.
Yeah, not great.
I cast Find Traps. No.
Yeah. There are times where you scrape the keel of this ship against some rocks, navigating through these rocky islets. Nothing that's like too dangerous, but like it does extend your travel time a little bit. You know, back out, go a different way, and stuff like that.
Wayfinder keeps trying to correct me, and I know what I'm doing.
Turn 30 degrees to port.
I know what I'm doing.
Warning. Collision imminent.
Not if I turn at the last second a hard left. It's like one of those like self-driving, but I'm trying to like stop doing. Or what was it? The driving test when somebody is like has the brake and wheel as well. It's just...
I'm up in the rigging with Marcos going, is it always like this?
You guys get closer and closer to Hermida, and eventually you see on the 7th day, the morning of the 7th day, you see the city. Coming into view, there's two big parts of the city. There's the walls of the city. The city is on this sort of bay, which slopes up as you're coming into port on the right-hand side. It slopes up to these bluffs that are overlooking the ocean, and then this sheer drop. The first thing that you see is this big wall that juts out into the sea. It's a walled sort of fortress within the city, and there is 10 to 15 Admiralty warships docked at this place. You see also the city extends beyond the wall, like basically around the whole bay. And there's civilian docks and other things around the side. here is your map.
A map! Our first map! First map.
One of my favorite parts of D&D is drawing maps, which is not really good for a podcast format, an audio format, but this is for my players to give to them. I've given them a map.
This is a lot.
As the White Wake sails into the harbor, you notice that there are kind of there's three major docks. There's kind of the merchant dock, the fisherman's dock, both of which are places where civilian ships, you guys would be allowed to dock your ship. Tam, you know that, or Lichen, you know that. And then there's the military docks, which are off limits except for official warships of the Admiralty. And so you guys head in. Is there anything you want to do before you make land?
How many crewmates are there left?
So there's the two of you, Sel, Bergen, Penelope, and 5 other crewmates.
10 total.
10 total people.
Based on, I don't know how we're splitting this up. If there's 10 people, it'd be 10 gold each. I'm not doing that. But what I will do is just...
None of the crew expect to get gold.
Yeah.
They're like, you gave us a free ride.
We got off an island.
We got off the island, like, we're good.
I figured that, but I'm still wouldn't do nothing. So I would probably give 2 gold each to each crew member. And also just explain to them, like, you're free to go wherever you want. Go find another ship, go back home, do whatever you need to do, live your life and live it well. But I think we at some point might have to ship out again, and I'd be happy to have you along, and just do with that what you will. Get back to me in due time if that's something you want.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, persuasion. What have we been waiting for? Dirty 20.
All of them want to stay. They all want to stay on. You gave them a lot of money, and this is a magical, crazy magic
largely
ship.
automated ship. That's very true. I didn't even think about that.
Their chores are so much easier on this ship than they have ever been on any of the other sailing things that they've done.
I think over the course of the journey, Tam would have had the kind of hard conversation with you about the fact that do you trust these crew folks? Do you, because even if they leave, like Tam's not saying like we kill everybody that leaves, but they don't need to go blabbing about that they were on the Coral Prince and they fought, especially where we are.
Yeah, I think my pitch initially is I want to keep Penelope for sure, so I'll give her 3 gold. And then
she was never gonna not be with you guys.
I'm like waiting like 8 episodes from now. You're gonna like stab me in the back with her. I'm gonna be so ticked. You guys love doing that garbage.
What do you mean?
And then so mainly want to keep her. And then I figured we could talk through who else stays and whatnot. And then I'm gonna take you, me, and Sel out of that group getting paid. And because I don't know how much you want to give Sel or whatever, but then we can split the rest. Otherwise, so if that's 7 people, it'd be 15 gold out of this. So we still have 85 gold and
I think
25 silver.
As we're preparing to dock, Tam kind of has not like a straight up council of war, but brings Sel and Lichen in. Right. So I've recently come to an understanding that I can cast a ritual that will give us some form of guidance over a decision in the near future. That being said, before I cast it, I'd like us all to be on the same page about what we're going to do to make it as easy as possible to get a straightforward answer. I know Sel and I are looking for the Admiral, and if I'm being honest, the only way I know how to do that is by asking questions. Do we think there might be a place to start asking questions, or should I just inquire about asking about her by name? Lucia Cassian? Yes.
We probably definitely need to know if that person's even alive right now. We don't know where to start. We don't know if she did get captured or killed, like your friend that got taken out by the...
Right.
By the way, he turned into a bear. That was crazy.
There was a lot going on. You and I need to chit-chat a bit. We're going to have to spend some time together just figuring things out. Because I'm pretty sure that weird crab claw thing, Penelope said it wasn't her. I know it wasn't me. So I'm thinking you may be the one in charge of that.
I don't. If I am, it's news to me. I assumed it was some cast by Penelope.
Can I ask him to make a deception check? Because there's no way I'm gonna believe you. Because I should have asked Penelope.
Deception. 19.
19, dirty 20.
Oh.
My insight is. Oh, where'd it go? I'm
I'll
double
say
check,
with
but I'm pretty
those-
sure my insight is. Yeah, my insight's 5, rolled a 15, dirty 20.
I'll say.
My deception is 5, rolled a 14.
Oh man!
Wow, that's crazy. I'll say with those rolls, you know that something's amiss.
Right.
You're not quite sure what.
Yeah, I wasn't straight up calling you out, but it was one of those like, I know you're hiding something, and it's cool.
I'm surprised it wasn't Penelope. I guess, I don't know, maybe it was like a sea guardian thing. I've heard of that happening.
Well, the only problem with that is I asked her if it was her, and she said no. So, and like I said, I know it wasn't me. But anyway, we've got time. So if we're fine with that, I think what Tam may do is cast Augury.
What specific thing are you asking?
I am going to ask, will bad fortune follow us if we ask about Lucia Cassian? And I think while you're thinking of that, Tam's ritual casting is he goes into the middle of the ship into where a kind of open section is, and he does a very, like almost like a Tai Chi version of a sword form, with the purpose of kind of clearing his mind, focusing up. This is not a militaristic thing. It's
Sure.
more of a way of focusing and emptying himself for Hachiman to speak to him.
You see things. I've just decided that's how this is going to work.
Okay, yeah, works for me.
You see a cloud. You see the sun shining across the ocean. Then you see storm clouds, lightning bolt. You see a group of figures in an alleyway sharpening daggers. You see a moon, and you see a skull.
Okay. I think if you're watching Tam, about halfway through, you would see he's doing this form and his eyes just go white. And then at the end of the form, they come back to, like, he's still moving and blinking and stuff, but they just come back. And I'll kind of relax and stretch out a little bit and explain that I think we've got to be careful if we ask about her. So it might be worth you taking the point, Captain, if you don't mind. But I think circumspect is the word of the day.
Yeah, mechanically, I'd be like, "Yep, that's the appropriate." way. There's 4 outcomes.
Yeah, wheel and woe.
And woe. So there's wheel, there's woe, wheel and woe, and nothing.
Right.
And so, I was trying to communicate wheel and
Yeah,
woe.
potential for bad and good. That's how I interpreted it. And that was a ritual, so I don't use a spell slot.
So is there anything else that you guys want to accomplish before you dock?
I will. To what extent would you say that Cell and Tam have, like, Kingdom of the Wood garb on?
I would say, like, you don't have official uniforms. You're wearing, like, kind of generic mercenary gear. It's like it was a secret mission.
Good. Okay, cool. Yeah, because that was really the only thing I was
Yeah.
going to do, was make sure that we weren't broadcasting who we were specifically.
I think I would just figure out divvying up gold. So I already did the crew.
I mean, if you're letting us keep that 50, we're good.
I'd probably try to convince you to do a little less just because it's you two versus everyone else, but less by, like, you guys could still have like 35, 40 between
So
the
yeah,
two
we'll kick in 10 more to the party pot. And I think over the course of the journey, if Lichen is pretty committed to helping us long term, it goes back in the pot. Like, there's not Tam's only reason for keeping it out, or even trying to, was, what are we going to do if it's just us two and we have to sail some more? It was a go bag. That was all he had in mind for it.
Well, just to divvy it up, because no idea what'll happen, probably give you all, like 40 And I know I'm going to spend a little bit on myself in port. And then the rest, just re-equipping or whatnot. So just kind of getting that logistics out of the way before we dock.
You guys, Wayfinder says to you all, I will cease extra augmented ship processes so as not to draw attention to us.
I was going to ask, so if we shrink her down in the dock, are they going to be looking for a ship that's not there for a bit because it's in our pocket, or are we going to leave her big? Now it's even better that we called her a girl because she's a ship, which is always a girl, right? A lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is consistent with cultural naming practices.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we should leave her docked for a little bit. And then also, it just dawned on me, I mean, you're always on this ship, so if anyone ever tries to come snooping through, you hopefully would be able to tell us.
Indeed. I will keep a record of all visitors to the ship.
I think with us planning to potentially ship out again, maybe we leave it here, but at any point if we're going to another town, if we're staying inland for a while, let's go ahead and take her in the dead of the night and let people just wonder.
Exactly. Or we could depart, or you could depart by yourself one afternoon, go out somewhere where you can swim back, pocket form, swim back up, no problem.
Lycan's giddy at this idea. I like that. I could go out in the dead of the night and just swim back.
I feel like over the course of the journey here, Tam definitely saw your love of being in the water and your affinity to it, if not all the extra breathing and all that stuff, but definitely like, oh, he gets in the water every chance he can get. And that's as good a way as any, outside of like, oh, we went out and it crashed and our lifeboat rowed back or something elaborate like that.
So you guys pull into the dock and you sort of tie off. You see a human official dressed in kind of administrative gear coming towards you guys. He says, excuse me, it is a silver to tie up a boat at the dock, and I shall need to know your name and cargo.
Name's Lichen. I'm captain of this vessel. Ship's name, the White Wake. We actually don't have any cargo, just people. We washed ashore actually and spent a time marooned, and thankfully we're able to repair ship enough to make it out here, and hoping to get our ship shape even more so. And he said 2 silver.
1 silver to tie up.
Here's 5. I don't know how long we'll be in dock for.
Oh, yes, of course. Very generous. Thank you. And he scurries off. And as you guys are unloading, there's kind of a common, a square near the docks where people are unloading gear. And you notice that there is a kind of a platform, and you see a herald, like a town crier, come up. And he starts to shout a couple things like, the price of fish has gone up. The tariff on imported silks is being lowered by 2%. And then he says something that catches your attention. He says, Lady Admiral Lucia Cassian wanted for crimes against the state, wanted for treason. And then he goes on and lists some other things.
Hey.
And I think that is where we will end our session.
Okay.
All right, let's roll for
let's roll for outro.
Lowest, right?
the lowest. I got an 18.
Ooh.
10.
5.
See you.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for this week. Thanks for sailing along with us. Don't forget to follow us on whatever format you're using to listen along. If you want to leave a comment or subscribe, that would be great. It would help us out. And also, don't forget, every time you dock, make sure to tip your dock worker.
Nice.